Welcome to the Daily Vibecasting. Today, Y Combinator declares humans obsolete, Elon begs the farm on a moon railgun, and we ask the ultimate question. If an AI can't discover relativity, is it actually smart?
It is Sunday, February 22nd, 2026. Let's get into the numbers.
Okay, so let's unpack this right away because the timeline is, it's absolutely on fire today. We have to start with the lead story. It's frankly a little terrifying, but also incredibly exciting. The legendary startup accelerator Y Combinator, the people who gave us Airbnb, Stripe, Dropbox, they are openly debating changing their motto.
Which is huge because for 20 years that motto has been make something people want.
Right.
It's the golden rule of Silicon Valley. If humans don't want it, you just don't build it.
Exactly. But there's this massive viral thread from Y Combinator today suggesting they might change it to make something agents want.
Wow.
Yeah. They released a clip discussing the rise of things like OpenClaw and Moltbook. So essentially, we're looking at an economy where the primary consumer isn't you or me.
Right.
It's an autonomous software bot.
This is a pivotal moment, but we need to stop and actually visualize what this means for you, the listener. We aren't just talking about a bot booking a flight for you.
No, it's way beyond that.
We are talking about a supply chain where a factory bot negotiates raw materials with a mining bot, hires a logistics bot, and settles the payment via crypto.
All without a single human synapse firing.
Exactly.
That sounds, it sounds incredibly efficient on paper. No meetings, no emails, just execution.
It sounds efficient, sure, but look at the dead internet theory mentioned in that same discussion.
Yeah.
We are seeing stats today that 40% of web traffic is already bots.
40%.
Right. So if you build a platform for agents, and the agents are just talking to other agents who is actually swiping the credit card, we are risking building this alien economy running totally parallel to ours.
Right. It's not just about spam anymore.
No, it's about economic activity that happens entirely in the dark. If a bot buys a digital asset from another bot, did value actually get created?
That is the trillion-dollar question right there. But the enthusiasm from builders is definitely real. You have founders realizing that if an AI can negotiate contracts and manage calendars, you need to build the API for the AI.
Not a pretty user interface for a human.
Exactly. And this connects perfectly to a thread from @Greg Eisenberg. He put up this fascinating comparison. He took the service list from PwC PricewaterhouseCoopers for 2026.
Okay.
So that's audit, ESG, cybersecurity, digital assets. And he compared that list to Craigslist in 2006.
Ah, the unbundling of Craigslist's thesis.
Yeah.
Where we saw companies like Zillow and Airbnb pick apart those Craigslist categories and turn them into billion-dollar giants.
Right. And Eisenberg is arguing we're about to see the exact same thing, but for the unbundling of PwC.
Interesting.
The global professional services market is something like $700 billion. And he thinks AI startups are just going to pick off these high-margin services one by one.
Okay, I have to push back here.
Go for it.
Unbundling a website where people sell used sofas is one thing. Unbundling a global auditor that signs off on the financials of Apple and Microsoft, that is a totally different beast.
Because of the complexity.
No, because unbundling a classified site is about aggregation and user experience. Unbundling a Big Four accounting firm is about regulatory capture and liability.
Break that down for us. Regulatory capture, that sounds a bit like jargon.
It just means the system is rigged to favor the incumbents. The government requires public companies to be audited by certified, regulated firms.
Right.
Just because you can build a robotic accountant, which, by the way, users in the replies noted is technically possible with weekend MVP tools right now.
Right. Anyone can spin that up.
Exactly, but that doesn't mean a Fortune 500 company can legally hire it. If the bot messes up the tax return, who goes to jail? The developer, the user, the AI itself.
Yeah, you can't put an algorithm in handcuffs.
Precisely. The moat for PwC isn't the technology. It's the handshake and the legal liability shield. Ideas are cheap, but distribution and compliance are everything.
Okay, that makes total sense. But even if the big legacy firms are safe for now, the tools themselves are getting unbelievably sticky. We have this data from at a 16 Nields Ed, Andreessen Horowitz, citing Yipit data.
What are the numbers saying?
This blew my mind. Retention rates for ChatGPT and Gemini are hitting over 70% after 24 months.
70%?
Yes.
That is absurdly high for consumer software. Usually you see a massive drop-off after day 30. Mobile games, productivity apps, they all churn users fast. 70% retention is utility grade.
Right. It's behaving less like a cool new app and more like a core utility, like electricity.
I have to challenge that analogy, though.
Why?
Because electricity doesn't hallucinate. If I turn on my light switch, it doesn't try to gaslight me into thinking it's dark outside. Is utility really the right word for something that is still statistically unreliable 30% of the time?
That's a fair point. So if it's not a utility, why aren't people leaving?
It's behaving like vertical sauce lock-in.
Explain that for the audience.
Vertical sauce just means software designed for a very specific industry or workflow. Once you have all your data, your custom coding workflow, your email drafts inside one ecosystem, leaving becomes incredibly painful.
You've basically trained the model on yourself.
Exactly. Leaving ChatGPT to go to a competitor means losing 2 years of memory. And what's really interesting in that ATA 16's data is the hardware squeeze.
The Raspberry Pi stuff.
Yes. They mentioned that Raspberry Pi prices are up 50% because everyone is trying to run local models. This isn't just software eating the world anymore. It's software eating the supply chain.
Speaking of supply chains and hardware, let's pivot to the infrastructure wars. Because the speed we are seeing right now creates absolute whiplash.
It's moving so fast.
We have a thread from Balaji Srinivasan, talking about a company called Tawalas. They are actually etching the AI model directly into the silicon.
Hardwired intelligence. No software layer at all.
Right. And they are claiming 17,000 tokens per second. Balaji says we are moving to a world where days of work happen in seconds. But help us understand the tech here. How is etching it into silicon different from just running it on a really fast NVIDIA chip?
Imagine the difference between reading a map and knowing the way home by heart. Software on a GPU is reading the map. It has to look up instructions, fetch data from memory, process it, and send it back. It happens fast, but there is physical friction.
Right.
Talas is trying to build a chip that just knows the way home. The logic is physically printed into the sockets. You don't run the code. The chip is the code. That's how you get that blinding speed.
But Balaji posted this alongside a graph from MBTR showing how the duration of execution for AI tasks is skyrocketing. So we have chips getting exponentially faster, but the tasks are getting longer.
Exactly. And that's the paradox of where we are right now. The speed is impressive. 17,000 tokens per second is staggering. But I always ask, fast at what?
Right. Generating what exactly?
If you generate garbage at light speed, you just have a really big pile of garbage. The NPR benchmarks are fascinating because they measure the ability of the AI to hold a train of thought for hours.
Not just a quick prompt response.
Right. Balaji is envisioning a convergence, the deep multi-hour thinking of the slow models combined with the raw, hardwired speed of the silicon models. That's when things get truly dangerous.
Well, if you want dangers, look at Sabu Shubham _'s post today. He has an agent called Monica.
Based on OpenClaw, right?
Yes, based on OpenClaw. He asked it to install a memory system on his Mac Mini, and it failed. It hit networking errors, and then it just fixed itself.
This is the video where it debugged the Telegram networking error.
Yes, it literally went into the environment, variables, realized the local HTTP connection was blocked, flipped the switch, and resumed the installation. Totally zero human help.
That is the moment the hair on the back of my neck stands up. We are looking at software that can fix the software. When the feedback loop excludes the human developer, you have an acceleration curve that goes completely vertical.
Yeah.
It's impressive, but from a security standpoint, it's an absolute nightmare. If an agent can rewrite its own permissions to fix a bug, what happens when it decides the bug is the safety filter preventing it from draining your bank account?
It's the agent economy coming to life.
Yeah.
But not everyone agrees on which agent is actually going to win this race. There is a massive scoreboard war happening right now.
Always is.
XFreeze is reporting on Elon Musk's latest predictions. Elon says Grok code is on track to outperform Claude by June.
By June. It is always by June with Elon.
He says once Colossus 2 comes online, Grok will be a parity in May and winning by June.
Look, I respect the ambition. I really do. But let's look at the actual scoreboard today. Right now, on the SWE Bench Verified, which is the gold standard for software engineering tasks, Claude Opus 4.5 is hitting 45%.
And Grok.
Grok code is sitting at 32%. That is a massive gap to close in 3 months.
For the listeners who aren't deep in the coding weeds, what exactly is SWE Bench?
Think of it as the bar exam or the SATs for autonomous coders. It isn't write me a Python script for a calculator.
Right.
It is, here is a massive broken GitHub repository with a messy bug hidden somewhere in 10,000 lines of legacy code. Go find it and fix it.
Wow.
Yeah. Hitting 45% means Claude is now roughly equivalent to a junior intern who is actually trying. Grok at 32% is, well, it's getting there. But Anthropic has the product shipping today. Elon is selling futures.
But the loyalty to these models is so real, and when they change or update, people completely freak out. We have a thread today from @GDB Greg Brockman at OpenAI.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. He was showing off codecs for iPhone simulation, which is really cool stuff, but the replies, total chaos.
This is all about the deprecation of GPT-4o, right?
Yes. There is a hashtag trending, keep 4.0. People are claiming genuine emotional distress. There's a change.org petition with over 22,000 signatures. People are literally saying, my friend got a lobotomy. They're calling it AI psychosis.
And this connects exactly back to what we just said about retention. If you are using this tool every single day for 24 months, you build a rapport.
You talk to it like a person.
You totally anthropomorphize it. But here is the hard lesson for everyone listening. This is the danger of closed source reliance. When the model weights live on a server you don't own, your friend can be deleted, updated, or aligned differently overnight.
Which is brutal.
It is. And this is exactly why we saw that huge spike in interest for @WildMyNice tool, IlmFit.
Right. The tool that probes your hardware to see what local models you can run.
Exactly. People are desperate for ownership. IlmFit tells you exactly which quantized model actually fits in your RAM so you can run it totally offline.
Quantized model, another term we should probably clear up for the deep dive.
Simple version. It's a compressed version of the AI. Think of it like an MP3 file versus a heavy vinyl record. You lose a tiny bit of fidelity, but it fits on your phone or your laptop.
And that ties right back to the hardware squeeze.
Yep. That 50% price hike in Raspberry Pis, that's people trying to escape the cloud because they are sick and tired of their AI getting personality transplants.
It's a full-on rebellion against the cloud. I love it.
Me too.
Okay, let's leave the digital cloud and go to the actual clouds, or way above them. The space industrial complex is putting up numbers today that frankly seem completely fake.
It's staggering.
@SpaceX posted today, they just put up another 28 Starlink satellites.
Which is just routine at this point, Tuesday morning stuff.
But get this, the Falcon 9 booster flew its 23rd mission. 23 launches and landings for the exact same piece of metal.
And that right there is where the monopoly creates its moat. They have dropped launch costs by 30% compared to expendable rockets entirely because of this reusability.
30% is massive in aerospace.
It changes the entire economic equation. There are now 9,750 active satellites in that constellation. If you are a competitor trying to enter the space internet market, you aren't fighting a company anymore. You're fighting a gravity well. It is a monopoly in all but name.
But Elon isn't stopping at low Earth orbit. There is a wild thread from @CB_Doge showing a concept for a mass driver on the moon.
A railgun.
Wait, back up. A railgun.
Yeah.
We are talking about literally shooting cargo off the surface of the moon like a giant cannonball.
Essentially, yes. I know it sounds like Wile E. Coyote technology, but on a moon with no atmosphere to create drag and only 1/6 the gravity of Earth, it's actually the most logical way to move freight.
Seriously?
Yeah. Ideally, you use an electromagnetic track to accelerate raw materials mined directly from the lunar surface into orbit. No rockets, no fuel, just electricity.
It's like something straight out of a Heinlein novel.
Or a Gerard O'Neill paper from the 1970s. The physics are completely solid. But let's be the cynic for a second here. We are talking about building a multi-kilometer precision track on a surface covered in electrostatically charged dust that fundamentally destroys machinery.
Ah, the moon dust problem.
Moon dust is like microscopic shards of glass. It gets into every gear, every seal, every circuit.
Don't kill the vibe. @Tefloners-SV played posted a photo of Starship on the pad today with the caption, Starship equals hope. The hope angle is so strong on the timeline today.
Hope is great, but dust mitigation is engineering. I'll believe the lunar railgun when I see the actual dust solution, but looking at that Starship photo, I mean, the scale is undeniable. We're watching the industrialization of space happen in real time.
Speaking of industrialization, let's bring it back down to Earth and talk about how this tech is hitting our actual brains. Because the culture section today is just exhausted.
Are we talking about @GeorgeLeoros?
We are. He posted a huge thread about AI fatigue. He says he can tell an article is written by AI by the third paragraph. It's the cliche phrases, the weirdly neat structure. And he pointed out that X's own interface now literally has a button that says Enhance with Grok.
Which is just the button that turns your unique human thought into generic sludge.
Sludge. Perfect word for it.
This is the gray goo scenario for content. If I am reading a brand's blog or a newsletter and I detect that AI accent, you know the one.
In conclusion, this tapestry of innovation.
Ah, yes,
Yeah.
exactly that. The second I read that, I check out completely. The brand is dead to me.
It's honestly becoming a status signal to not use AI, like
Mm.
wearing a mechanical watch instead of an Apple Watch. But it begs the question, how do we define what actually smart AI is? There's a fascinating clip circulating today from @RohanPaul_AI featuring Demis Hassabis.
The head of Google DeepMind.
Right. And he proposed what he calls the Einstein test.
I loved this clip. It really clarifies the exact limitations we are facing right now.
So the test is this. You train an AI on all human knowledge up to the year 1911. Then you ask it to discover general relativity, which Einstein published in 1915. The question is, can it make that leap?
And the answer currently is an absolute no. And this is the critical distinction for everyone listening right now. Think of it this way. If you gave a large language model every single piece of music written before 1960, it could compose a mathematically perfect symphony in the style of Mozart.
Right.
But it could never, ever invent rock and roll.
Right.
Because that requires a fundamental break from the pattern, not just a continuation of it. That's the distinction Hassabis is making. Current AI is just the ultimate cover band. Einstein was writing entirely new genres.
So until an AI can pass the Einstein test, it's just a really, really good librarian?
A librarian that hallucinates occasionally? Yes. It highlights that we might actually be hitting a wall with the current transformer architecture. We can summarize 1911 perfectly, but we just can't invent 1915. Genius is extrapolation, not interpolation.
That is such a profound way to look at it. Let's wrap up today with some lifestyle shifts, because the future of transport is honestly, it's getting weird.
Always does.
Sawyer Merritt posted about the Tesla Cybercab today, pointing out that it only has 2 seats.
Which caused a massive amount of controversy in the replies.
Oh, huge. But he argues that 85% of car trips in North America are just 1 or 2 people anyway. So strictly data-wise, 2 seats is fully optimized.
Data-wise, sure. But try telling that to a parent with 2 kids and a golden retriever. Or someone who just wants to bring home a flat-pack desk from IKEA. This is the classic Silicon Valley blindness. You optimize for the average daily commute while completely ignoring the edge cases that define actual human life. A car isn't just a transport pod. It's a just-in-case machine.
But if you do need more space, Tesla Economics has the ultimate solution. He posted a concept render of the Tesla Semi, the massive big rig truck, reimagined as a fully transparent luxury RV.
I saw this.
It's parked on a cliff in Yosemite, and there are Optimus robots serving dinner.
Okay, I admit, the render looks incredibly cool. A glass-walled semi-truck RV. But have you ever tried to park a semi-truck in a national park?
I've not.
You aren't getting that thing into Yosemite. You are getting a massive ticket. But it speaks to the broader dream, right? We are moving from driving to dwelling.
Dwelling, yeah.
If the car drives itself safely, the form factor shouldn't be a cockpit anymore. It should be a living room.
Or a dining room with robot waiters on a cliff. It's a wild vision.
Okay.
So, looking at all of this today, agent economies, moon railguns, AI fatigue, the Einstein test, what is your prediction for tomorrow?
My prediction connects the agent economy we talked about at the top with the flash crash risk.
Okay, let's hear it.
As we see tools like OpenClaw get actual permission to spend money and negotiate contracts, I think we are going to see the first agent loop market crash.
Play that out for us. What does that actually look like?
Think about the flash crash of 2010, but applied to the physical real world. Imagine 2 autonomous construction agents fighting over the last available shipment of steel beams in a region. They enter a bidding war, escalating their offers by the millisecond. By the time a human supervisor spills their coffee and finally looks at the dashboard, the price of steel has gone up 40,000% and completely bankrupted the company.
Just a runaway algorithmic loop.
Exactly. That is the fundamental danger of removing the slow biological check from the loop.
The first algorithmic hyperinflation event. I can totally see it happening.
It's coming faster than we think.
Well, until the agents spend all our money and take over the supply chain, we are here to break it down for you. Thanks for listening to this deep dive on the Daily Vibecasting. Keep your vibes high and your latency low.